So today we'll start with the topic heat. Okay. So what is the meaning of heat?
Sir, heat is a form of energy.
It's a one form of energy which will make any substance hot, right? So heat is a form of energy which will make the substance as a hot. So whether we heat will, sorry. So suppose if we take the winter season or the summer season, what is the difference between these two?
But in summer it will be hot, sir, and winter season it will be cold.
If you take the winter season, we'll feel the climate as a cool, right? Because the temperature is low. And if you take the summer season,
It will be hot.
the temperature is will be high, we will feel the warm. Both the cases, the temperature difference will be there. Yes or no?
Yeah, sir.
So you can measure the heat in the form of temperature only. So whenever the temperature is high, you can say it as a hot. Whenever the temperature is very low, you can say it as a cool. Okay, so you can feel that sense whether it's a hot, warm, or the cold. So in this chapter, we're going to study only about this: what is a hot, cold, temperature, and how you are going to measure the temperature. Okay, in both laboratory way and the clinical thermometers. The next one about the futures, how to take the readings of the thermometer.
Sure, Fahrenheit to Celsius to
Celsius, Kelvin. Next one is the laboratory thermometer. So how to take the readings in the laboratory thermometer that we are going to study in this chapter. In the final digital thermometer. So nowadays we don't see this type of thermometers near the doctors, right?
no, I think.
In olden days, is a thermometer will used by the doctor to measure the temperature. But nowadays, they will use the digital machines to measure the temperature. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. There is some disturbance in your voice. It's kind of breaking.
Disturbance in the voice.
Yeah.
Just wait a minute.
Sir, like lot of sir, like the microphone, I think it's close to your mouth because like the air that comes, sir, it's like creating.
Like breath.
Yes, sir, the breath is creating sound.
Sir, but for me it's clear.
Okay, now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the after that discussing about the clinical thermometer and the laboratory thermometer, we'll study about the different ways of heat transfer. Okay, so the first one is a conduction. Okay, again based upon the conduction, we have the good conductors and the bad conductors of heat. The next one is a convention. So that will happen in the water as well as in the air, and the land breeze and the sea breeze. This is somewhat related to the social topics.
Yes, sir.
Global temperature and all will come in this topic. The third one is the radiation, right? So the sun's heat will reach the earth in the form of radiation only. Okay, and the last one is the drying of the cloth. So these are the main topics are there in this chapter. Okay, first one is a hot and the cold. So what is meant by hot and what is meant by cold? First, what is the meaning of temperature? What's the meaning of temperature? Temperature is nothing but the degree of hot or the coldness of the object, right? It is a measure of degree of hotness or the coldness of an object is called as a temperature of an object. So if the temperature is low, we can call it as a cool substance. Or the temperature is very high, you can say it as a hot substance. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So how we can say whether it is cool or hot? How we can say that?
Sir, when our body,
Sir, we can feel it.
We can feel it. We can sense the help of the senses, right?
Yes, sir.
Help of our senses, you can say whether the object is hot or the cool.
Yes, sir.
You can feel it, correct? So everything we cannot measure with the help of the senses, because some objects may be little hot or some objects may be too hot.
Yes, sir. They can burn our skin.
Yeah. So everything we cannot measure with the help of our senses, but we can measure the degree of hotness or the coldness with the help of the instrument called as a thermometer. So you can see the basic thermometer near the doctors. Okay. So again, the temperature can be measured in the three different scales.
Sir, degree centigrade, degree Fahrenheit, and degree Kelvin.
So it can be measured in the degree Celsius, Fahrenheit, and the Kelvin,
Kelvin.
right? So generally, if you take the temperature, most of the cases will measure in the Celsius only, like room temperature 25 degrees Celsius and all. But when you go to the doctor, he'll tell the answer in the terms of 98, 99, 100, right? So when you go for the checkup for the fever, generally he'll keep the thermometer and he'll give the answers either in the 97 or the 98, 99. What is the units then? Hmm?
Can you say once again?
Yes, sir.
If you go for the doctor visit, he'll check the temperature of our body, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But finally he'll tell the answer in the 98 or the 99 or the 100.
Yes, sir. Body temperature is usually measured in Fahrenheit.
What is that scale?
Sir, Fahrenheit.
The Fahrenheit. It's not the Celsius. Okay.
Yes.
Whatever the temperature is measured, the Fahrenheit scale. The 97 and all is the Fahrenheit scale. Okay. Don't write as a Celsius, because the what is the boiling point of water?
Sir, 100 degrees Celsius.
The Celsius, right? But if you take 100 degree Fahrenheit, is if you write as a mistake as 100 degrees Celsius now, it's wrong. Okay. So based upon this, you can say the 2 points. One is a melting point, the other one is a boiling point. So first, what is the meaning of melting point?
Sir, like it's a point, like it's a point of temperature where a substance is no longer in solid form, sir. It's in liquid, like it becomes into liquid.
Very good. Always remember, melting means what? It is a point of temperature at which the substance will start converting from solid to liquid. Okay, that is a melting point. If you take the water, so what is the melting point of the water? It is 0 degrees Celsius.
Yes, sir.
Or you can say as a freezing point also, this one.
Sir,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
this is
Like,
Ishan.
sir, if it goes below like 0 degrees, like if it is reducing, sir, then like it will be freezing point, sir. But if the temperature is increasing, then it will be melting.
Sir, this is Ishan. I'm sorry I joined late. I had a power cut, sir.
Okay, Ishan. Okay, then boiling point is what? What is the meaning of boiling point?
Sir, it is a point of temperature when a substance becomes into vapors, converts into vapors.
Temperature at which the liquid start converting into the vapor is called as in boiling point. Okay, so it is a point at which the liquid form will convert into the gaseous form or the vapor form. That is a boiling point. So if you take the boiling point of the water, what is the answer?
100 degrees.
100 degree Celsius. Okay, so at 100 degrees Celsius, the liquid water is converting slowly into the gaseous state. Right? So all this temperature you can measure with the help of the thermometer in the three different scales, either in the Celsius or in the Fahrenheit, okay, or in the Kelvin. But out of these three, the most common unit is the Celsius only. Okay, we have discussed about the melting point and the boiling point. What is the average room temperature? What is the average room temperature?
Okay. Sir, it's actually like 30 degrees Celsius.
Any other guess? Anyone?
20
Sir,
degrees Celsius.
sir, because normally like the temperature.
So 30.
30.
20.
I think.
Only 2 or 3 people has given the answer. What about the remaining?
So 97.
97. Yes, or the Fahrenheit or the Kelvin? In which units is saying that one?
Sir, like in Hyderabad this year, the least was 10. Sir, then the highest I don't know yet because like summer is coming.
Okay. So average room temperature in Celsius is 25 degrees Celsius. What is the average room temperature?
25 degrees Celsius.
25 degrees.
Okay. If you take the Kelvin, it comes around the 97.
Okay. Yes, sir.
But what is the average body temperature?
Sir, it will be 35. Like 35 to 40.
37.6.
Okay.
Okay, that is the average temperature of the body. That is a 37.6 degrees Celsius.
Sir, in Fahrenheit, it is 98.5, right?
8.5.
98.6.
Okay.
Okay. So 98.4 or 5, you can take it as an average temperature of the human body in the Fahrenheit scale. Okay. So first one is a clinical thermometer. What is the meaning of clinical thermometer?
Sir, like
The
these
clinical
are.
thermometer so it tells our body heat, sir.
Yes, sir. They're like they are used by doctors and like before they are used by doctors. Sir, even we have like in homes to like check our body temperature.
Good. Generally, clinical thermometer is a thermometer used for measuring the temperature of human body. Most of the cases it is used by the doctors or even at the homes also it is available to measure the temperature of the patients.
Sir, and it's not used for any other because like its limit is so low.
Yeah. If you see the clinical thermometer, it has a long glass tube. At one end, it is attached with the bulb. So you can see that silver color part, right? At the clinical thermometer, that is called as a bulb. So it will contain the mercury. Okay. So there is a bulb part. You can see on the left side of this clinical thermometer. So you can see you have the dark color part, right? There is a bulb which will contain the mercury, and these are the mercury thread. So you can see here normal body temperature, it's a 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, so whatever the readings are given here also is in the Celsius. You can see here in the finally the units. Okay, so when you keep this clinical thermometer under the shoulders or under the tongue, okay, so what will happen? This mercury will rise slowly to the column of this mercury thread, so it will shows the reading of the temperature of our body. I think seen this one. Anybody is there who didn't see this clinical thermometer till now?
Sir, I have seen.
Everyone has seen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. So before using this clinical thermometer, doctor will generally shake, right? Why?
Sir, because sir, it has a kink, sir. Sir, which does not allow the like the mercury to fall down.
Yes.
Sir, so after measuring a person's temperature, sir, as the mercury doesn't fall down, sir, the next person's temperature, like it can show inaccurately. Sir, so if they shake it, the mercury will like go inside the bulb. Sir, then again it will come back. Like
It will
then
come
it
to the
will show
normal
up.
position.
Yes, sir, which is in the bulb.
Very
Sir, it like refreshes it, sir.
it's a simple like resetting, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Simple one button is reset. So again, bring back this mercury from the thread to the bulb. They will generally shake this, or they will generally just they'll give certain checks so that it will come back to the original form or the zeroth position. So that's what is given the explanation part here. Just above the bulb containing mercury, a clinical thermometer has a kink in this glass tube, which is prevent to backflow of the mercury into the thermometer bulb. So when the thermometer bulb is removed from the mouth of the patient, the kink prevents the mercury level in the thermometer tube from the falling on its own. Due to this, we can read the correct body temperature of the patient even after removing the thermometer bulb from his mouth. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after noting the body temperature, the level of the mercury can be brought down by giving jerk to the thermometer tube. But it's very dangerous. You have to be very careful in handling this clinical thermometer. We should not use the broken piece of this thermometer because it is a glass only, right? When you are giving jerks or something, we should ensure that there should be no breakage of this thermometer, because whatever the metal is there in that, mercury is the metal or not?
Yes, sir. It's not hold it with bare hands.
Metal, which is a liquid metal, is very highly poisonous in nature. So when you are disposing of
Yes, sir, it's very corrosive.
corrosive, highly poisonous in nature. So should not use any damaged thermometers.
Yeah, sir, or you should like handle the thermometers carefully so that they don't break.
Yeah. So as the mercury is very toxic and difficult to dispose of, so thermometer must be handled very carefully. So clinical thermometer should not be used to measure the temperature of an object other than human body. This is what they have to mentioning, because it has the readings only from generally 35 degrees Celsius to
Degrees.
52 or around 50 you can take maximum, but more than that it will not be there. But if you take the average room temperature only, it is a 25 degrees Celsius, or the normal human body temperature is 30, right? So we should not use it to measure for other temperature of the bodies. We should only use it for the human body. Should not be kept in the sun or the near the flame, otherwise it will may break. Nowadays, digital thermometer are used which does not contain the mercury for the safety purpose.
Sir, I think it contains thermostat or something. Thermostat.
No, sir. Digital does not contain thermos.
Mercury will not be there.
Sir, I have a doubt. Like right now, nobody uses nobody uses these clinical thermometers other than like a few old hospitals or schools, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
even my school like shifted from the clinical thermometer to digital, sir.
Now we can see this one.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I have this. We have in the home floor, yeah.
Digital thermometer. So it will give us a beep sound whenever the temperature is maximum, right? So there is a bulb. Again, it will also contain the bulb here at the end of the thermometer, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir, and like in our school, they're using infrared thermometer.
Okay. So it will measure the temperature automatically without using any of these devices.
Yeah, so it's just like you put it on your forehead and you can measure it. Because of COVID, like in our school, before entering the bus, we have to check our temperature. So they're using infrared thermometer.
The temperature gun will be there, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. In my also it's the same.
So you can see this is the clinical thermometer here. So now we're going to study how to take the readings of the clinical thermometer. So it will be easy part only. Mahavir just to read these points one by one. Mahavir.
Wash the thermometer with antiseptic lotion. And if in case the antiseptic lotion is not available, then wash it with clean water. Step 2. Gently hold the thermometer tube in your hand and give it a jerk in such a way that the thread the thermometer tube falls below the reading of 35 degrees Celsius. Now put the bulb of the thermometer under your tongue of the patient for about 1 minute. Then take out the thermometer nature, hold the thermometer horizontally in your hand and rotate it slowly. When we see a magnified image of the mercury thread in its tube, then a position will come. Now read the temperature on thermometer tube in parallel with the top of the mercury thread.
Simple, right? First, you have to wash the thermometer properly before using it. Before the measuring of the temperature of the human body with the help of the antiseptic solution or the clean water. What is the next one? We have to see the mercury thread reading. If the mercury thread reading is above 35 degrees Celsius now, just you have to give the jerk, sorry, to make it fall below 35 degrees Celsius. That is the second step. What is the third one? Put the bulb of thermometer under the tongue of the patient for about 1 minute, or you can use it under the shoulder also. Okay. So these are the two places where you'll measure the temperature of the body. Then take out of the thermometer from the patient mouth or under the arms. Fourth one, what is it? When you are measuring the reading of the temperature, we should hold it horizontally. We should not hold in any slant direction, because if you hold it horizontally only, you can see the reading perfectly. If you hold in any slant direction, what will happen? We cannot read the reading accurately.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to hold it properly in the horizontal way and we have to read the reading. And you have to note it.
Last year in motion and time, in 6th class motion and time, it is there.
Yeah, then you're reading the observations with the help of the scale. You should see
We need to keep it straight.
right. You should not keep in the slant direction, right? Okay. So these are the 4 steps in measuring the readings of the clinical thermometer. Then what are the precautions, Fatima?
Yes, sir.
Read these precautions.
Okay, sir. A clinical thermometer should not be used for any object other than the human body. There are some following precautions which are to be observed while reading a clinical thermometer. Wash the clinical thermometer before and after using, preferably with an antiseptic lotion. Be ensured that the mercury level before using the clinical thermometer should be below 35 degrees Celsius. The clinical thermometer should be read by keeping the level of mercury along the line of sight. While reading the clinical thermometer, it should never be held by the bulb. The clinical thermometer should be carefully handled.
So any doubts in these precautions? Again, the same things, right?
Yes, sir, no doubt.
So we have to maintain you have to clean it properly. You have to ensure that there should be below 35 degrees Celsius, that's right.
Yes.
And the line of sight should be proper. While reading the clinical thermometer, it should never be held by the bulb. It's very, very important, correct? The fourth point, when you're reading the clinical thermometer, you should not hold the thermometer with the
Sir, because like our hand temperature may be different and it can change.
very good. When you're holding near the bulb region now, it may change the temperature based upon our hand temperature. So we should not hold the thermometer at the bulb region. The last one, you should handle it very carefully. So that's all about the clinical thermometer, which is used only for the human body. Then what is the laboratory thermometer?
Sir, this is thermometer that is used to like measure objects.
So lab,
Sir, it is usually used in labs and it has a high temperature. It can
Sir,
measure high temperature.
yes, sir. Like it can go like below a freezing point and even like above boiling point of water.
working principle is same, but the laboratory thermometer they have the larger scale of reading, because in the if you take the labs or if you take the industrial purpose, they will have they will work at the higher temperature, right?
Sir.
So we have to measure the high temperature, so we have to use the somewhat bigger thermometers. Okay, so that is only the laboratory thermometer, which is used generally in the labs or in the industry purpose to measure the temperature of the objects, which is not commonly used for the human body at all. So what is the range of the laboratory thermometers? -10 degrees Celsius to the 1.
10 degrees Celsius.
Then these are the special thermometers which automatically record the maximum and minimum temperature of the day. The maximum S and the minimum temperature of the last day reported in the weather reports in TVs and newspapers are measured by using the maximum and the minimum thermometers.
Shortly, they're also called as maximum minimum thermometers.
Good. Do you see the hygrometers?
Sir, hydro?
Hygrometers.
No, sir.
One
No, sir, we didn't hear only.
didn't hear it all. So see the TV reports, the weather report in the different sources like internet or the news channel or the newspapers. They'll give the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature of the day.
Sir, I have seen the hygrometer.
Sir, I know that like they use maximum minimum like thermometers or temperature. Sir, what is hydrometer?
All these are measured.
Yes, sir. It is something like that.
It will only use it to measure the maximum and the minimum temperature of the environment. Just wait a minute, I'll show the image.
Yes, it's like usually it looks like a clock. It's from 0 to 100.
The olden hygrometer now. Like wait a minute.
So like the latest ones look like a walkie-talkie.
Latest one is like that, but if you see the old one, it will be clear for you.
Yes.
Wait a minute, I will paste.
Shows both of them.
Now can you see the image?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir,
See the image. So hygrometer is this device which is used to measure the maximum and the minimum temperature of the environment. So it will contain the two thermometers. One is a dry thermometer. Dry thermometer means what? In which it is not, the bulb is not dipped in the water. The next one is a wet thermometer, in which the bulb of the thermometer is dipped with the water.
what?
Okay, with the help of these two readings, they will decide the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature of the day.
Sir, how, sir? Sir, like, sir, in the dry one, sir, like it measures the heat of the air. Sir, in the wet one, it measures the heat of the water,
Yeah,
like the temperature.
all will be there to calculate the maximum and minimum temperatures. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you see the new one, right, it's look like a magnetic compass like this. Simple. This is a new model.
Sir, what, sir? How can it measure, sir? Sir, where is the thermometer?
Thermometer is not used in the new one, right?
Okay.
They'll use other techniques. So directly you'll get the readings itself directly,
Okay, sir.
like this.
Sir, this is digital one, new one.
Yeah, sir, no, digital.
Okay. Next again, how to take the readings. Harini, read these steps. Harini.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. There are following steps to read the temperature on a thermometer.
Step 1. First of all, take some hot water in a beaker. Step 2. Now try to hold the laboratory thermometer from its glass tube and immerse the bulb of the thermometer into hot water taken in the beaker. Notice that the bulb of the thermometer should not touch the sides or the bottom of the beaker as shown in the figure. Step 3. Here we will observe the shining thread of mercury moving up in the thermometer tube. After some time, the mercury will stop rising and stand at one place. Now read the temperature on the thermometer tube, which corresponds to the top of the mercury thread. This will give us the temperature of hot water taken in the beaker.
Good. Any doubts in this?
No,
No,
sir.
sir. No, sir.
So
This is all about the how to take the readings of the laboratory.
Sir, laboratory thermometer.
Sir, I have an activity on this, sir.
Okay. Just wait a minute.
Your voice is very low.
Yes, sir.
Now is it clear?
No, sir.
No. Still it is.
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Yes, sir.
So next Chaitanya. Chaitanya. Ahana Singh. Ahana. Not responding. Can you hear me or not?
Sir, we can hear you.
Yes, sir, we can hear.
Ritik Nimala.
yes, sir, I can hear.
Yeah, just read these points, precaution points.
Yes, sir. While measuring temperature, a laboratory thermometer should be held vertically. The thermometer bulb should be surrounded from all sides by the substance whose temperature is to be measured. The thermometer reading should be taken while its bulb is still in touch with the substance
Sir,
whose
can you hear me?
being measured.
Yes.
Temperature is being measured, and by keeping the mercury level along with the line of sight, the thermometer should be held by the bulb. The thermometer
Should not be held by bulb.
should not be held by the bulb. The thermometer should be carefully handled. Yes, sir.
Good. So when you're measuring the temperature of using the laboratory thermometer or the clinical thermometer, so especially in the case of laboratory thermometer, whatever the liquid, suppose if we take the water should be completely surrounded by the bulb. Understanding? If you take the
Yes.
thermometer bulb, it should be completely immersed in the water. Then only you will get the accurate readings. If you immerse half of the bulb and if you remain the half will be in the air, it will not gives accurate reading. And very importantly, we have to handle it carefully. We should not touch the bulb after the immersing in some of the liquids because it's a hot liquid, right? So it will either damage your hands or it will decrease the temperature of the bulb. That is the second thing. And immediately after measuring the temperature, we have to decrease the temperature of the bulb either by putting in the cold water or in any other solutions. Okay, because it's a glass material, right? It should not be break. And you have to reset immediately also after the use. Also, you can reset the thermometer by using the jugs. So that's all about the thermometers. Clinical and the laboratory both are same, but clinical we will use only for the measuring the temperature of human body.
Sir, laboratory does not have kink.
You don't have generally kinks and all that much will not be there.
Yes, sir, that one.
Okay. So now last one is the digital thermometer. So nowadays these are the most common And in this also, whether we'll use the mercury in this,
No, sir.
won't use
No,
in the digital thermometers. So that is a safety thing which is there with the digital thermometer compared to the clinical or the laboratory thermometers.
Sir, and like in this also, like there are more developed ones. Like instead of keeping in our shoulder and mouth, like it'll
Yeah,
just
so the
scan.
infrared
Yes,
thermometer.
sir. It'll just like scan our forehead or our hand. Sir, it'll give the temperature.
You can see this
Yes, so infrared thermometer.
COVID time it has become famous, right? Where you go,
Yes, sir.
the person will start with the as if he's shooting, right?
Yes, sir. Right now, like it's like now it's like mostly used, sir.
So whichever the mall you go, school you go, right? Or whichever
Yes.
place you will visit, always the entrance there will be a thermogun, which is used to measure the temperature of the human body. Okay, which is not exactly accurate, but okay to take the readings. Exact accurate body temperature will be the clinical thermometers only, with the help of mercury. So it will have some error, plus one or minus one error will be there with the digital thermometer because it will work based upon the transistors, right?
Sir, because computers can be.
Yeah. So that's all about the digital thermometer. We don't use the mercury in this. Instead of that, we'll use the other chipsets in the digital thermometers. So any doubts up to this?
Sir, like with what does it like measure our like temperature, sir?
What does it?
Sir, like in a clinical thermometer, there is mercury. So it shows us the temperature. Sir, so like how does it scan our temperature?
Thermistor.
We'll use.
Thermistor.
So based upon the heating element will be there. Based upon that, it will give the readings. So
Yes, sir.
we have the bulb, right? This bulb will have the thermistor. So based upon the outside heat conditions, it will give the readings in the digitally. That also in the Fahrenheit only, you will see clearly 90-degree Fahrenheit and all. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Okay. So next one is the transfer of heat.
Yeah, like sometimes, like when I stay like outside for too much time and it's like cold outside, and like with the infrared thermometer, it shows that I'm 32 degrees Celsius.
Okay, transfer of, sorry, didn't understand, Harini.
What's sir?
Can you repeat again?
So like when I stand outside and it's like cold outside, then if you check like my temperature with infrared thermometer, it shows I'm 32 degrees Celsius. So is it like I'm really 32 degrees Celsius or because standing outside?
Temperature will be different, right? It depends upon the so many other factors also.
Yes, sir. Sir, like you just said, no, it doesn't give the
Observe
accurate
the
one.
body, so that's why we'll get more temperature, sir, when we'll in sunlight.
The countries like it will have the higher temperatures. If you take the Indiana, it will have the different temperature and depends upon the time of the place also. But I'm saying an average. If you take an average of room temperature, it will be 25 degrees Celsius. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So next one, transfer of heat. What is the meaning of this transfer of heat?
Sir, like it is a property of heat that like if a object has a high temperature, sir, the heat transfers from a high temperature body to a low temperature body.
Very good.
Sir, heat is a form of energy which flows from one body to another.
So law of conservation of energy will be there, right?
Yes, sir.
Created nor be destroyed, but always will move from one form to the other form.
Another until it becomes the same temperature.
So
Yes, sir.
So means one body to another body.
always the heat will flow from higher degree temperature to the or higher temperature to the lower temperature.
Sir, and like also like there is an activity in a text work. Sir, like keep your hand in a little bit like sir, a warmer water like which is not same as like a little bit higher than the room temperature. Sir, at first like we'll feel it's hot. Sir, but after like 10-20 seconds, sir, we feel that like we don't feel hot in the water.
Yeah, because we'll get the equilibrium, right? The transfer of heat
Yes,
from the
sir.
hands to the water or water to the hands. So after some time, both will have the same temperature. That is the equilibrium condition.
Yes, sir. And like
Yes,
sometimes if
sir.
you put your hand above a campfire, it becomes hot.
Good. If you take the winter season, also same. Just want to place your in the bucket or bucket of water. Initially, will feel either cool, too cool, but after some point of time, what will happen? The heat will transfer.
Sir, but after some time, like our heat, like it will transfer to the water, sir. So our body temperature will be the same as the water.
So both will get the equilibrium.
Yes.
So always heat will flow from the higher temperature to the lower temperature case only, or the hot object to the cold objects. So based upon this transfer of heat only, the sun will transfer the source of heat energy to the earth. The different ways are there. It's very, very important by conduction, convention, and the radiation. So there are three different methods of the heat transfer.
Yes.
So what is the conduction first?
Sir, in conduction, the heat is transferred from a solid object to another solid object, sir. Sir, here the molecules don't move. Sir, just the heat just transfers from one of sir, because like the solids are compact. Sir, only the heat moves, sir, and the molecules don't move in this.
Yes,
Sir,
so
it
there
is
is
a
only
good
vibration.
sir, it is a good conductor of heat.
If you take the hot iron rod, if you take an iron rod, and if you heat at one end of the iron rod, automatically heat will transfer to the other end of the iron rod, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it happening by which method?
Sir,
Conduction.
conduction.
Conduction, right? So the mode of heat transfer from hotter part of the material to the colder part of the material when it is in contact with it without the movement of the material is called as in conduction. So most of the solids will conduct the heat, not the electricity. Most of the solids will conduct the heat with the help of this conduction process only. Right?
So is water also conductor?
Water is also a conductor of electricity when there is impurities are there in that. If you take pure water, it will not conduct the electricity.
Yes, sir, because like it doesn't have that salt and all minerals.
It's or something to conduct the electricity. If you have the tap water, it will contain some impurities, right? Those will conduct the electricity. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir.
So based upon this only, you can say there are two types. One is a conductors, the other one is a insulators. So materials which allow the conduction of heat is called as conductors. Okay. So those
Sir.
are the iron, copper, silver, aluminum. All the metals are the good conductor of heat. Yeah. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Connection is a bad conductors. Those are the insulators.
Insulators.
Materials which does not allow the heat to flow through them are called as insulators. So for example, wood, plastic, glass are the insulating of the heat.
Sir, can I ask? Sir, like in bulbs, we use tungsten, right? Sir, so tungsten is it an insulator?
No, it's not the insulator, it is a conductor only, right?
Sir, like because it has high resistance, right? That's why I was asking.
It has a high resistance, so only it is converting the electrical energy into the heat energy.
Yes, sir.
So whenever the object is having the high resistance, like water heaters or the geysers, they will transfer the electrical energy into the heat energy only. They will produce the heat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Okay, sir. Like I got confused about electricity and heat.
yeah. So generally the metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Both will have good. all the metals will have both the properties. It will conduct the heat as well as it will conduct the electricity. And if you take the plastics, wood, glass, these are the insulators. They will not transfer the heat at all, and they will not conduct the electricity also.
Sir, is mercury or like conductor of electricity?
Mercury is the slow conductor of electricity, very, very less.
Okay.
The next one, sorry. Okay, next one, use of good and bad conductors of heat. So where we'll use these good conductors and the bad conductors. Hello.
Sir joined from a different device, I guess.
Yes.
No, sir, didn't join. Sir, John Geshner.
Power cut has happened.
Sir, your voice is low.
Sir,
That's how I can hear you. No.
So next one is what is the use of good and bad conductor of electricity heat? Sorry. So where will use the good conductors of heat? Where will use the bad conductors of heat? You tell me first. What are the common examples in your home?
sir, we use conductors of heat for in utensils.
Wait. Chaitanya, Fatima,
Some
Ahana.
Yeah, sir.
Any one of you can tell me the answers? Ahana Singh,
Sir,
Chaitanya.
can I ask a doubt? Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, Mahavir.
Sir, actually, sir, when we are cooking, sir, normally everyone uses metal, like, sir, like with metal handles, right?
Yeah.
Sir, like nowadays, like many are using wooden also, sir. But why do they use like they still use metal ones, right, sir? Why, sir? Because like it's like it is a good conductor, and it can also burn our hand.
Can you repeat again? What's your doubt?
Uh, sir, actually,
Sir, his voice is very loud, sir.
Okay, can you repeat again?
yes, sir. Sir, like we use like utensils that are for cooking, sir, not utensils. Sir, like for cooking we use sir, in English I don't know. Sir, like in Telugu we say garitelu, right?
Okay.
Sir, so when we use them, sir, why are they made of metal, right? Metal, sir, because it can burn our hand, right? If we use wooden, it will be more like comfortable.
Yeah. So main point is generally those utensils are there, right? They are made up of steel. It's not about the completely metal and all. If you take the steel, it not conduct the electricity heat that much. If you keep it for the stove for the continuously, it will conduct the electricity. Yeah, correct. But we won't keep it during on the stove itself, right?
Yes, sir.
But if you go for the good thing, na, yeah, wooden also can use. But you have to use the
Yes, sir.
should not damage by the water.
Yes, sir. Nowadays, like many are using wooden things or wooden utensils.
But make sure that the material made up of that wood is should not damage by the water or the hot vapors.
Sir.
Yeah. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Your homework for today is this only. So why these three methods of transfer of heat is very, very important in our nature or the environment? Or we can say what is the importance of this?
Sir, because like these are sir, in every condition, sir, like these three are the transfer, like heat transfers from these only, sir. Sir, in metals it's by conduction, we discussed it. Sir, in convection, if it's in water or air, sir, like the molecules are not compact, right? Sir, so the molecules move and carry the heat, sir. Sir, so in this way, the other substance gets heated. Sir, in radiation, like in a vacuum.
Okay.
heat reaches.
So your homework for today is the importance of these three different methods of heat transfer. Okay, write down in a copy. I'll check the notes in next class. Okay. So any doubts in today's class?
Sir, I have one doubt, sir. Normal doubt. Sir, in my grandfather's house, I have one light, sir. Sir, means we should keep it when sir, when we keep our hand only, it will blow, sir. But when we keep to the switches, it will not blow, sir. Why?
When we keep our hand only, it will start blowing.
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
Sir, but we keep to the switches, but it will not blow, sir. Why?
Sir, what type of bulb is he talking, sir?
Don't know, sir. But my grandfather said because of our heat, it will blow, it seems.
Okay, maybe it has a sensors.
Yeah, sir. My
Which
grandfather said.
works mostly.
It probably has sensors. Though it is connected to the switch, it's probably not. It is connected to the power, but then it's not connected to the switch. There is no switch for that. Even if you switch it on, it will be no use. That's just a decoy. If you put your hand, there are sensors, touch sensors. When they're probably touch sensors. So when you touch it, the touch sensors go off and the bulb glows.
Very good. Like if you take the mobile, the fingerprint sensor will be there. When you keep the finger only, it will have the.
Yes, sir.
It will respond. If you keep any other object, it will not respond, right? Based upon the sensors only.
Yes, sir.
The same principle. Good. So any doubts in today's class?